It was the kind of night that made ordinary girls believe in magic. And Maya knew, magic didn't belong to girls like her. The city lights danced across the wet pavement, reflections shimmering like diamonds spilled from the sky. Rain had come and gone in a flurry, leaving the air smelling of ozone and the ground slick with silver. It was a Friday, the kind that felt like it could change everything, or nothing at all. Maya adjusted the strap of her second-hand black dress. It clung a little too tightly at the hips, the fabric a bit too worn to look new, but it was all she had. Her friend Lila insisted she come out tonight. "Girl, you need this," Lila had said, dragging her to the rooftop bar where laughter floated into the sky and fairy lights wrapped every railing. "You've been drowning in double shifts and ramen noodles." And maybe she was right. Maya's fingers toyed with the edge of her glass, the condensation trailing cool water down her palm. Around her, people laughed, clinked glasses, kissed under string lights. Wealth whispered from every corner, from tailored suits to silk dresses to gold watches that cost more than Maya's rent. She didn't belong here. She was the outsider pretending to be someone else for one night. But then she saw him. Not in the flashy, look-at-me kind of way the others moved. He sat at the bar alone, no phone in hand, no company beside him. Just a quiet confidence, like he didn't need to prove anything to anyone. His black dress shirt was rolled at the sleeves, revealing forearms dusted with sun and ink. His hair, tousled like he'd been running his hand through it, and his eyes. God, his eyes. Steel gray. Focused. And staring right at her. Maya froze. He didn't look away. Instead, he smiled. Not the kind of smile meant to charm or seduce. The kind that said, "I see you." Heart thudding, she looked down. This wasn't her scene. Guys like that didn't look at girls like her. But when she looked up again, he was walking over. "Is this seat taken?" His voice was warm, low, like velvet against her skin. She blinked. "No. I mean, yeah. I mean, no. It's not," she stammered, heat rising in her cheeks. He smiled again and took the seat beside her. "I'm Chris," he said, extending a hand. Maya hesitated, then shook it. His hand was firm, but not controlling. Grounded. Real. "Maya. Pretty name. You don't look like you belong here," she said before she could stop herself. Chris raised an eyebrow, amused. "Neither do you." She laughed. "Touché." And just like that, the night shifted. They talked. Not about money or status or careers. About music, childhood memories, the last book they read, the worst decisions they ever made. They drank, but not too much. They laughed, not politely, but deeply. Time slipped. The noise of the party faded. He made her feel like she was the only one in the room. When his hand brushed hers, it wasn't forceful, it was curious, soft. When he looked at her, it wasn't like he wanted to own her, it was like he wanted to understand her. And when he leaned in and asked softly, "Do you want to get out of here?" she didn't think. She nodded. They ended up at a quiet hotel across town. Not the kind rented by the hour, but not 5-star either. Just, clean. Simple. Safe. He was gentle. She didn't want to fall. But it felt like flying. The next morning, Maya woke alone. The bed still warm beside her. The scent of him lingering in the sheets. But no note. No number. Just an empty space where magic had once been. She sat up slowly, pulling the sheet to her chest. Confused. Hurt but trying not to be. It was just one night, she told herself. You knew what this was. Still, a small part of her hoped. She got dressed. Left the room with her heart too full and too empty at the same time. Life would go back to normal. Rent. Work. Responsibilities. Except it didn't. Because 3 days later, she saw his face again. Not in a text. Not in her dreams. On a giant LED screen in Times Square. Christian Delano, tech mogul and heir to the Delano fortune, launches new AI company set to revolutionize the industry. Maya dropped her coffee. The man in the suit, with perfect hair and a killer jawline, was Chris. Her Chris. Except he wasn't. He wasn't a bartender. Or a musician. Or some charming drifter. He was a billionaire. And he lied. The paper cup slipped from Maya's hand and hit the pavement with a muted thud, splattering lukewarm coffee on her sandals. But she didn't move. She couldn't. There he was. Not in jeans and rolled sleeves. Not in that quiet, gentle presence that made her feel seen. But in a charcoal suit tailored like royalty, standing behind a podium in front of a sea of cameras. Confident. Powerful. Unreachable. Christian Delano. Her Chris. It was like the ground shifted under her feet. People brushed past her on the street, some pausing to watch the screen, others rushing by with no idea that her world had just cracked wide open. She heard the voice of a news anchor through the speakers. At just 31, Christian Delano, heir to the Delano tech empire, is set to unveil his new artificial intelligence platform expected to rival global competitors. The words blurred together. She couldn't hear anything over the thunder of her own heart. He lied. He had looked her in the eyes. Held her like she meant something. Asked for her name. Her fears. Her favorite song. He told her his name was Chris. She turned, stumbling away from the screen like a ghost. Her heart pounded in her ears, her face flushed with disbelief and something worse, humiliation. How could she have been so naive? By the time Maya made it home, she was drenched, not from rain, but from sweat and nerves. Her tiny apartment smelled faintly of burnt rice and fabric softener. She shut the door behind her and leaned against it, breathing hard. Chris. Christian, whatever the hell your name is, she muttered, tearing off her sandal. You played me. She tried to rationalize it. Maybe he just wanted to be normal for a night. Maybe he didn't want to be chased for his money. Maybe. No. He still could have told her the truth. A name. A number. A hint. But he didn't. He disappeared. Like it meant nothing. She sat on the floor and stared at her cracked phone screen, the lock screen still showing the night skyline from that rooftop bar. Was he ever real? The days that followed were torture. She saw him everywhere. News articles. Business headlines. Clips of interviews on YouTube. Bachelor billionaire breaks silence on Delano legacy. Christian Delano spotted with mystery woman last week, who is she? That one nearly stopped her heart. The headline was clickbait. There were no photos. No names. But Maya slammed her laptop shut and cursed out loud. Her life had been private. Quiet. Invisible. Now, thanks to one night, she might become tabloid bait. She was nobody. And he was everything the world wanted. Lila barged into her apartment 2 nights later, holding a bottle of wine and her phone in the air. Girl. Tell me why the guy you vanished with looks just like this billionaire on the news. Maya looked up, trying to act casual. Lila wasn't buying it. You told me his name was Chris. You didn't say it was Christian freaking Delano. Maya groaned and covered her face with a cushion. I didn't know. Lila sat down beside her, wide-eyed. You spent the night with a billionaire and didn't even know it? Not until 3 days later when I saw his face in the middle of Broad Street. There was a pause. Then Lila whispered, was he? He was perfect, Maya said bitterly. He asked about my dreams. My mom. My freaking favorite soup. And then he ghosted me like I was just a charity case. Silence stretched between them. Lila reached for the wine bottle. Okay. We are not crying over rich boys tonight. We are drinking. Maya managed a small laugh, even as something in her chest twisted tighter. But the next morning, it all changed again. Because someone knocked on her door. Not a neighbor. Not Lila. It was a man in a dark suit. Miss Obasai, he asked politely. She blinked. Yes. He extended a sleek white envelope. This is for you. From Mr. Delano. Her heart stopped. She took the envelope with trembling fingers. The man nodded once, then turned and left like nothing about this was weird. Maya stared at the envelope, her hands sweating. It had weight. Substance. Her name was handwritten on the front in neat, slanted ink. She opened it. Inside was a thick, cream-colored card and a folded note. She read the note first. Maya. I owe you an apology. And a conversation. If you're willing, meet me. No cameras. No press. Just me. Chris. The card was an invitation. Not to a gala or a press event. To a private dinner. A place she'd never heard of, the Ivory House. Time, 8 p.m. Tonight. Maya stared at the note. Until her hands started to shake. What did he want now? And more importantly, was she willing to find out? The envelope sat on her coffee table like it carried a bomb inside. Maya stared at it from across the room, her arms folded tightly across her chest, as if wrapping herself against the cold she felt inside. Dinner at the Ivory House. 8 p.m. Tonight. No cameras. No press. Just him. Yeah, right, she muttered, pacing the floor. As if that makes it better. Her fingers twitched with the urge to tear the invitation up, or maybe frame it. She couldn't decide which feeling was stronger, rage or curiosity. And beneath both, something even more dangerous. Hope. She hated that it lingered. By 7 p.m., she still hadn't made a decision. She stood in front of her mirror in the same black dress she wore the night they met. It was the only one she had that didn't scream, broke. Her hair was pulled back, natural, clean. Her eyes were lined just enough to look alert, but not like she was trying. Why are you doing this? She asked herself. You owe him nothing. But her reflection stared back with a mixture of defiance and fear. You want answers. That's why. And if nothing else, she'd look him in the eye and let him know exactly how much that night cost her. At 7:57 in the Ivory House. The place looked like something out of a dream. Tucked in a quiet upscale part of Victoria Island, the Ivory House wasn't flashy. It didn't need to be. The building was minimal and elegant, matte black walls, gold accents, and guards in tailored suits who nodded silently at her as she stepped out of the ride. Maya Obasai, one asked. She hesitated. Yes. You're expected. Of course she was. She was led through a lush hallway lined with palm sculptures and candlelit walls into a private rooftop garden that didn't even feel like Lagos anymore. There, at a single table under soft golden lights, he stood. Christian. Not Chris. Not the guy at the bar. The billionaire. He wore a crisp navy blue suit with the jacket off, sleeves rolled, as if trying to shrink himself back into the version she knew. It didn't work. Maya slowed her steps, chin lifted high. You look, he started, but trailed off. Different? She asked, stopping a few feet from him. No. Exactly the same. He smiled, soft and cautious. Beautiful. She didn't smile back. Why am I here, Christian? He winced at the full name. You're mad. I get that. Mad? No. Furious? Getting warmer? Insulted? Absolutely. He gestured to the table. Can we sit? She didn't move. I don't eat with liars, she said. He looked down for a moment, hands resting on the back of a chair. I didn't mean to lie. She raised an eyebrow. I just didn't tell you who I was. I was trying to be, just a guy, for one night. Not a Delano. Not a story. Just, me. Maya laughed, but there was no humor in it. And when you left that morning without a word? Was that just you two? He winced. No. That was me being a coward. She finally sat, arms folded. So why now? Why the invitation? Why not just keep pretending I never existed? Christian met her eyes. Because I couldn't stop thinking about you. About how real it felt. You didn't want anything from me. You didn't even know who I was. And for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. Maya said nothing. He leaned forward slightly. You don't owe me a second chance. I get that. But I needed to at least say I'm sorry. And what then? She asked. You go back to being Nigeria's most eligible billionaire and I go back to hustling 3 jobs and dodging NEPA blackouts? He shook his head. That's not what I want. She narrowed her eyes. What do you want, Christian? He hesitated, choosing his words carefully. I want to see you again. For real. No lies. No masks. If you'll let me. Silence fell like a curtain between them. Maya's heart warred with itself. Part of her wanted to believe him. The other part reminded her of every time the world reminded her she didn't belong in his. She looked at him, this man who made headlines and sat in boardrooms, and saw the man from that night. The one who listened. Who made her laugh. Who held her like she mattered. I don't do second chances easily, she said. He nodded. I wouldn't respect you if you did. She picked up the glass of water in front of her and took a slow sip. Then I guess we're having dinner. Christian walked her to the curb after dinner, his hand hovering near hers like he wanted to hold it, but didn't dare. Maya noticed. But she didn't reach for him. The city lights of Victoria Island glittered against the sky like sequins. Somewhere far away, traffic hummed and life carried on. But in this pocket of the night, it was just the two of them, and a question neither of them had the courage to ask. What happens next? She leaned against the black car waiting to take her home. The driver looked straight ahead, politely invisible. Christian stepped closer. Thank you, for coming. Maya gave a small nod. I didn't do it for you. He smiled faintly. I know. But I'm still glad you did. A long pause. You said you wanted to see me again, she said. But I need to know, what are you really looking for, Christian? A distraction? A charity project? Some fairy tale you can walk away from whenever it stops feeling exciting? His face hardened just slightly, not in anger, but restraint. I'm looking for the one person who looked me in the eye and didn't see a Delano, he said. And I'm hoping that person still exists. Her chest tightened. She hated how much that answer moved her. Hated that she wanted to believe him. She turned toward the open door of the car but paused. One more thing, she said. Don't show up in my life again unless you're willing to stay. He didn't speak. He just nodded. And watched her disappear behind the tinted glass. The next morning. Maya returned to work at a local cafe in Yaba like nothing had happened. No one there knew about billionaires or rooftop gardens or private envelopes delivered by men in suits. They knew her as the girl who worked 2 shifts, never complained, and could stretch a bag of rice longer than science said was possible. She liked it that way. Simple. Quiet. Safe. But safety didn't last. Not when your past wasn't done with you. Around noon, a woman walked into the cafe. Tall. Expensive looking. The kind of woman whose heels didn't click, they announced. She wore a sleek red jumpsuit and gold sunglasses that she didn't bother to remove indoors. Her skin was flawless. Her walk, dangerous. She stopped in front of the counter and pulled the glasses off. Maya blinked. The woman looked her up and down, then smiled. So cold, it burned. You must be Maya. Maya frowned. I'm sorry, do I know you? The woman leaned in just slightly. You don't. But we've shared a man. Silence. Maya's stomach dropped. The woman held out her hand. Vanessa. No last name. She didn't need one. The name rang bells. Vanessa Ease. Christian Delano's ex. A publicist. A powerhouse. A predator in red. I'm not sure what Christian told you, Vanessa said, her voice syrupy sweet, but he has a habit of romanticizing his rebellions. You're just his latest escape. Maya's fingers curled under the counter. I think that's between me and Christian. Vanessa laughed softly. Of course. But men like him? They don't marry cafe girls, sweetheart. They vacation with them. Then they go home. Maya's heart thudded, but her face stayed calm. If you're done ordering nothing, she said, there's a line behind you. Vanessa smirked. Oh, honey. You're adorable. She slid on her glasses again, turned, and walked out like she owned the air. Maya stood still, her hands shaking under the counter. And just like that, the seed of doubt was planted. That night, Christian texted her. Chris. Dinner was perfect. I haven't stopped thinking about you. Chris, can I see you again? Maya stared at the screen. Typing. Then not. Backspace. Then finally. Maya, did you send Vanessa to test me? The dots appeared. Paused. Appeared again. Chris, no. She did that on her own. Maya, you should have warned me. No reply. Not for a while. Then. Chris, she doesn't speak for me. But she knows how to find people I care about. I'm sorry, Maya. Care about. It wasn't love. It wasn't even want. But it was a word that mattered. She put her phone down. Let the silence sit. And for the first time, she realized. This thing between them wasn't just personal anymore. It was public. And it was dangerous. The internet knew before Maya did. She was restocking the sugar jar at the cafe when Lila burst through the back door, waving her phone like it was on fire. Maya. Please not today. You're trending. Maya blinked. What? Lila shoved the phone toward her. Girl. You're on Instablog. Twitter. TikTok. Everywhere. Maya grabbed the phone and stared. There, in pixel-perfect clarity, was a photo of her and Christian on the rooftop of the Ivory House. Hashtag Christian Delano. Hashtag Mystery Girl. Hashtag Cafequin. The comments were wild. Who is she? She looks too basic for him. Power move from Christian, finally someone real. She must be a gold digger. Maya's stomach dropped. How did they even get that photo, she whispered. Lila narrowed her eyes. It was a private dinner, right? Maya nodded slowly. There were no cameras. Then someone leaked it. That night, Christian called. She let it ring 3 times before answering. Please tell me you didn't set this up, she said without greeting. No. Maya, I swear, this wasn't me. Then who was it? That rooftop was locked down. I've already launched an internal review, he said. But Maya, this is my world. People want access to my life. If someone even suspects I'm dating someone, they'll dig. Maya's voice dropped. I didn't ask for this. I know. And I'm sorry. Another pause. Maya. I'd understand if you wanted to walk away. She gripped the edge of the table. She thought about it. God, she wanted to. But something inside her refused to run. Not yet. I don't scare that easily, she said quietly. His breath caught on the other end. Then let me protect you. Please. The next day. A black SUV with tinted windows waited outside her apartment. A man named Nuru introduced himself as head of Christian's private security. She wanted to say no. But then she saw the headline in the morning paper. Who is Christian Delano's secret love? Exclusive, staff member from local cafe caught in Billionaire's orbit. And there was her picture. Not even the one from the dinner. A photo of her at work, apron on, sleeves rolled, sweaty from carrying crates of bottled water. It made her feel exposed in a way no rooftop dinner ever had. By midday, the cafe manager called her into the back office. I'm sorry, Maya, he said, not meeting her eyes. It's just, too much attention. The press keeps calling. Customers are coming in just to see you. You're firing me. I'm asking you to take a break. At least until this dies down. She stood there, stunned. Right. I'll just go home and relax while the world tears me apart. Back in her apartment, the silence screamed. Maya stared at the wall for a long time. Then she grabbed her phone. Maya, can I see you? Less than a minute passed before. Christian, I'm already on my way. When he arrived, she didn't speak. She just let him in, sat on the couch, and stared at him like he was the storm and the shelter all at once. I lost my job, she said finally. Christian tensed. I'm sorry. I didn't want your world. I know. I just wanted one night. I wanted forever. That stopped her. Her chest tightened. I don't know what this is, she whispered. But I can't lose myself in it. You won't, he said, sitting beside her. I'll help you hold on. She turned to face him. Then tell me the truth. He blinked. About what? What happened with Vanessa? Why she hates you? His jaw clenched. There it was, the secret he hadn't planned to share. She didn't want me. She wanted the Delano name. The lifestyle. The control. And when I ended it, she swore she'd ruin anything real I ever tried to build. Maya swallowed. And you think this, me, is real? He looked at her like she was the only truth in the room. I know it is. Maya didn't sleep that night. She laid in bed long after Christian left, the dim light of her phone screen flickering across her face as the internet continued to buzz like a swarm. The photo of them at dinner was still everywhere. But now there were more. Someone had snapped them outside the restaurant. Another caught a blurry shot of Christian arriving at her apartment. There was even a grainy video of her yelling at Vanessa in the cafe, posted with the charming caption. Local girl tries to fight billionaire's ex #class war. She locked her phone and dropped it face down. Enough. She had crossed a line the world wouldn't let her uncross. The next morning, Christian sent flowers. Not just a bouquet, an entire arrangement that took up half her kitchen counter. Orchids, roses, lilies, all in soft golds and blush pinks. The card was simple. Still choosing you. See. She stared at the blooms for a long time. Then she picked up her phone. Maya, we need to talk. Not here. They met at Freedom Park downtown, out in the open, in broad daylight. She wore sunglasses and a head wrap, trying to disappear into the Sunday crowd. Christian arrived in a black t-shirt and jeans, no security, no noise. Just him. Just Chris. "Thanks for coming," he said, sitting beside her on a shaded bench. "I'm not here for flowers or apologies," she said. He nodded. "I figured. I need to know, what are we doing?" Christian looked at her. "I'm trying to build something with you. And I know I've made it messy." Maya turned to him. "This isn't just messy, Christian. It's war. Your world is a machine. It doesn't care who it crushes. I can protect you." "No, you can't," she said gently. "Not from the public. Not from your ex. Not from what people like her think I am." "And what do they think you are?" he asked. "A distraction. A phase. A mistake." His jaw tightened. "You're not any of those things." "Then prove it," she said. "Don't just show up with flowers and promises. Show up when it's ugly. When it's hard." Christian leaned closer. "You're asking me to fight for you. I'm asking you to decide if I'm worth the fight." Silence. Then he said, "You are." "I already have." That night, Delano Estate. Vanessa stood in Christian's father's study, wine glass in hand, eyes locked on a glowing tablet screen. Maya's face. Christian beside her. Happy. Honest. And in Vanessa's eyes, dangerous. She took a slow sip, then turned to the older man behind the desk. "You see now?" Mr. Delano stared at the screen. "She's not from our world," Vanessa said, voice like poison in silk. "And if you don't stop it, your son is going to throw away everything he's built, for a girl who thinks love will keep the lights on." The old man said nothing. But his silence was approval. Vanessa smiled. Game on. Maya hadn't spoken to Christian in 3 days. Not because she was avoiding him, at least, that's what she told herself, but because she needed space to breathe. The online chaos had slowed, but the whispers hadn't stopped. Customers at the market still stared. A woman outside her compound had asked for a selfie. And her neighbors were acting like she'd become a celebrity overnight, except she felt more like a cautionary tale. Meanwhile, in Ikoyi, Christian stood in his office with his legal team, papers and folders spread across a sleek glass table. "Tell me again," he said, voice flat. "How did the photo get out?" One of the men, a younger associate with a nervous sweat, fumbled through a folder. "We traced the leak to a kitchen staff member at the Ivory House. Paid off by a gossip blog." Christian's jaw clenched. And Vanessa's name came up. Twice. Christian stepped back, heart pounding, not from surprise, but from confirmation. He knew it. He'd felt it. Vanessa was pulling strings again. But now it was official. She was at war. Back at Maya's apartment. Lila burst in, again. "Maya. You are not gonna like this." Maya looked up from her laptop, where she was trying to finish a freelance copywriting job. "What now?" Lila threw her phone down in front of her. A video began to play. Vanessa. On a talk show. Looking flawless. "Christian and I were together for years," Vanessa said sweetly. "I was there for him when his company was nothing but a startup. I'm not bitter. I just hope whoever he's with now understands the weight of that legacy." Maya stared at the screen, quiet. "Subtle much?" Lila said. "She's playing you like a drum." Maya stayed still. But her mind raced. That wasn't a message for the public. That was a message for her. That night, Christian showed up unannounced. Maya opened the door slowly. He looked tired. Unshaven. Not put together. Just, human. You saw the interview, he said. Maya nodded. She's making a move. She already moved. He looked down. I didn't protect you like I said I would. No, Maya said. You didn't. But this isn't about that anymore. Christian met her eyes. She's trying to push me out, Maya continued. But what she doesn't get is, I was never trying to push my way in. I know. Then why does it feel like I'm fighting for space in a life I didn't ask to be part of? Christian stepped forward. Because you're changing it. And people like Vanessa can't stand change. Maya folded her arms. So what now? I go public. She blinked. What? I make it official. No more hiding. No more speculation. I tell the world you're the woman I love. Maya stared at him. That'll only make things worse. He shook his head. It'll make it real. She looked down at the floor, heart pounding. You really think love is enough? Christian stepped closer and took her hand. No, he said. But it's where we start. The Delano press conference was scheduled for noon. But by 10:30 a.m., social media had already erupted with speculation. Big announcement from Christian Delano today. Is it a merger? A scandal? A wedding? Sources say he's addressing the mystery woman rumors. Maya sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone like it might explode. She hadn't agreed to this. Not officially. But Christian had made it clear, he wasn't hiding anymore. At 11:55 a.m., in Delano headquarters. Christian stepped onto the stage in a sharp gray suit, calm but unflinching. The cameras clicked, the crowd hushed, and Maya's heart pounded in her chest from miles away. I know many of you are expecting a business update today, he said, looking out at the sea of journalists. But I have something more important to share. He took a deep breath. For months now, I've been trying to keep a part of my life private. Not out of shame, but out of protection. The woman I've been seeing never asked for this spotlight. She didn't chase money or influence. She saw me when I wasn't a brand. When I was just Chris. Maya's breath caught. I love her, he said clearly. And her name is Maya Obesai. The room exploded. Maya's face appeared on screens around the world. And the internet broke in too. 2 hours later, Maya's apartment. The knock at the door came gently. When she opened it, there were no cameras. Just him. Christian. And a single flower in his hand. Hi, he said. Maya didn't speak. He held out the flower. I told the world about you. Now I just need to ask one more thing. She raised an eyebrow. What's that? He smiled, nervous, honest. Will you keep choosing me, even when the cameras go away? Her lips trembled. I didn't choose you for the cameras. He stepped forward and pulled her into a quiet, grounding hug. And in that moment, the world didn't matter. Not the headlines. Not the haters. Not Vanessa. Not the Delano name. Just two people, holding on. 6 months later. Maya stood in front of her own cafe in Lekki, Obesai and Company. The sign above the door was simple, hand-painted. Inside, it smelled like cinnamon bread and caramel coffee. She turned when the door chimed. Christian walked in, carrying a toddler on his hip, his niece. Maya laughed. Starting early? Teach them young, he said, placing the child on a stool. A reporter tried to snap a photo through the glass. Christian blocked it gently and waved them off. Maya handed him an apron. No press today. He smiled. Just coffee. And love. Thanks for watching till the next story, thanks.